He penned the song Guitar Boogie, which many consider the first rock and roll tune ever recorded. He was the original author of Dueling Banjos, which turned out to be one of the most famous movie melodies of all time. His country music television show was the first one of its kind to be nationally syndicated. His name? Arthur Smith, a true legend of the South.
Arthur Smith showed his enthusiasm for music at an early age. As an 8-year-old from Kershaw, South Carolina, he was teaching guitar. At 14, he was hosting a radio show. Before long, his radio career had soared, and he was in demand at big radio stations throughout the South.
Arthur Smith and his group, the Cracker Jacks, literally grew up with television.
I did the first live television show from Charlotte. And of course, when you said Charlotte in those days, it was the Southeast.
Arthur's been known all these years for a real passionate and loyal following.
I played Bristol one Saturday night, and Elvis played Johnson City, and we outdrew him by 1,200 people.
He's had hits, he's had relationships, and most of all, he's had longevity.
I was born 4/1/21, if you want to figure out how old, in Kershaw, South Carolina. I loved music and knew that's what I was going to do with my life. I was going to be in music.
Hi, neighbors. This is Arthur Smith.
Everything that we were playing then was three Smith brothers. And of course, we played square dances. Anywhere we would get asked to play, we were there to play. Almost all the radio stations with 1,000 watts or more had a Saturday night barn dance. You found yourself going around to these stations and telling them how good their show was and how much you'd wanted to be on it. Well, you got a spot, and then if the crowd liked you, you got invited back again and again and again. So that's the way we started into music.
We are at Studio East, the new Arthur Smith recording studio. Arthur Smith is my father. I'm very proud of that fact. Grew up in a family, a close-knit family, and a very talented family. Arthur's always been ahead of his time. His precedent-setting recording of Guitar Boogie back in the 40s, I mean, that literally launched their career.
I wrote Guitar Boogie in Bainbridge, Maryland, doing my basic Navy training. And the guys that shared the barracks that I was in, as soon as dinner was over, 50 of them would say, "Play your guitar, Arthur, play your guitar." Half of the guys would say, "Do Guitar Boogie, do Guitar Boogie."
Boy, if that wasn't the precursor to rock and roll, I don't know what was. It climbed the top of the country charts, crossed over, and went to the top of the pop charts. So kind of the first crossover in instrumentals. Sold 3 million right out of the box. And your career was set then. Well, that introduced you to the world.
Charlie Crutchfield, who was the president of WBTV and all the Jefferson Enterprises, he called me one day and he said, "Arthur, why don't you come work for me?" And I said, "I'll be there tomorrow." And he said, "All right, come on." He said, "Now, we're going to try to do some live shows here, Arthur. You want to put your group together and see what you can come up with?" And I said, "Absolutely."
Who's calling, please? Carolina calling. Put them on.
And it became the first nationally syndicated television show that featured country music.
The syndicated show started in the Carolinas. We had 3 stations. There was Winston and Wilmington and Charlotte, maybe. We wound up in the books being #1 in all 3 markets. But after 3 years, we were still on the 3 markets. That didn't seem right to me.
Roy Orbison. Patton.
Here's Andy Griffith.
George Hamilton.
I went over to Cox. About that time, they were going into the cable business. And I said, "Well, would y'all like to have my show?" And within, I guess it was maybe 6 months, I had the show running on 87 markets.
The diversity of artists who were involved in that, I remember many times over Johnny Cash coming in. You know, he would do his radio show and then come stay at the house. And so, you know, we'd eat fried chicken together, and I could just sit back and take all of this in.
Yes, and I was a young man then, Bob, but if you think I'm going to try to trade quips with you, you're crazy.
The list goes on. And then, you know, when Bob Hope came to town, I mean, we're all, like, you know, kind of clamoring in our boots.
It was absolutely no problem getting anybody that we wanted to be on the show. Next thing I went in my dressing room and sat down. We talked politics for 30 minutes. I said, well, now, President, how you want to handle this thing?
Well, since this is a nonpartisan or bipartisan program, let's play President Franklin D. Roosevelt's favorite song. Do you know it?
Yes, I do.
Home on the Range?
That's good.
Tonight we not only have a special guest, we've got some super guests, starting with Alison Krauss. Can we do Old Joe Clark?
Sure.
Glenn Campbell. Glenn, thank you for being here.
Thank you. It's great to be here, Arthur. I learned to play that boogie from your old record.
Oh, did you?
When I was a kid. Uncle Boo did. I had it. We had it on a set or something. What'd you do it in? Oh, yeah.
This is Larry Gatlin, really one of my heroes for many years and a very dear friend. Larry, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you. I am honored to be here with you, my friend.
Yeah.
I've been singing your song since I was a little boy. You're one of my heroes, and I appreciate that. I'm honored to be here with you.
Ronnie Millsap and Pure Love.
Pure love, baby, it's pure love. Milk and honey and Captain Crunch and you in the morning.
His name is Ralph Emery. Ralph, glad to have you.
Thank you, Arthur. Thank you very much.
Roy Clark, welcome to our show.
Oh, Arthur, it's great to be here. My hero. You took all my lines a while ago. You know, we've talked, you know, in the past off camera and off of the record, more or less, that how much you inspired me. Because when I first started to learn how to play guitar, there was a station in Washington, D.C. that the guitar, Arthur Smith's original Guitar Boogie was their theme song. And they played it out in front of this music store on a loudspeaker. And I would stand there and just stare at that speaker and say, one of these days, I'm going to be able to do that. And I'd go home and grab my guitar and I used to know it note for note.
I am awfully happy to have as our very special guest on this program, Mr. Ted Turner. Ted, thank you for being here.
Arthur, it's getting mighty deep in here, is all I can say. I want your autograph, Arthur.
You may have it, no problem.
You're a real television star. That's what I've always wanted to be.
This evening is special because our guest is Tom T. Hall. Tom, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Arthur. Good to be here. First two tunes I learned to play on the guitar was Mother Maybell's.
Oh, yeah.
Wildwood Flower, and then after I learned that, I graduated to
oh, boy.
learned to play the Guitar Boogie. Everybody did.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Chet Atkins. Play it, Chet. I'm going to pick up some good stuff here today from you, and I've already done that.
I remember spending many hours listening to your records trying to pick up some of those boogie licks you used to play.
Well, that's a two-way street. Earl Scruggs and Earl's son Randy is with
Hi,
us.
Arthur. How are you?
Good, Earl.
Man,
good
it's a pleasure to see you again.
Randy, so good to see you. And
I tell you what, not just because you're talking to me, but you really opened some doors in the Carolinas and all of the area that WBT and all those powerhouse stations over there will cover. You've done the whole country a lot of good, Arthur.
Well, you're very kind to say that. His name is Vince Gill. Vince, thank you for being with us.
Yes, sir, Arthur. It's nice to see you, sir. I was scraping the bottom of the barrel, and you got the presidents and everybody else, and I was the only one left. I like that. Thank you, buddy. I enjoyed that.
Thank you a lot, Vince.
It's a treat to pick with you. I want to say thank you to you for inspiring kids like me to want to pick up a guitar and learn it. You know.
In '54, we were doing a lot of personal appearances, and the boy that played with me played 5-string banjo with me, Don Reno. Don would play the 5-string banjo. I would play the guitar. I called Don Chicken, always did. I said, Chicken, can you do that? And of course he could do that. So we laid it down, and it became a hit for us in the country field. All right, let's do it now. Feuding was the basic idea. You do it and I'll do it, or I'll do it and you do it. I'll do my thing, you do yours.
When it was renamed and released as the theme to the motion picture Deliverance, it sold 8 million copies right out of the chute.
Within 90 days, the song out of the movie was the #1 song. And so we heard it and knew it was #1, and we knew we should be getting the tithe off of it. And I called Warner Brothers, and they explained that they had hired a professor to write this song, and it was now a Warner Brothers song, and they didn't owe me anything, but I called them several more times, and one of the legalists said, well, Mr. Smith, how would $15,000 sound to you to make this go away for us? I said, you're probably great in California, but you just would not do well in Carolina. And we got him to court in 11 months. Eric Weisberg, who they were saying wrote the song, told the court that he learned it from my record, that his dad left him when he passed away. This is the landmark copyright infringement case that all the attorneys go to now. Of course, we were glad to be a part of it. I love that.
He's always been entrepreneurial in his skills, and he's always had that folksy way about him.
I'm going to write music as long as I live. I'm sure of that. I write every day, and I'm very thankful for that ability to continue to do so.
And I say this, with a lot of passion. If Arthur Smith isn't a legend in his own time, I don't know what one is. He's had a lot of dreams and realized a lot of dreams. Has he been fortunate? He's been very fortunate. But like I said, he's been ahead of his time.
All right. So long for now. We'll see you again. Bye, everybody.
I love that.